Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into something pretty amazing today. It's all about how exercise can actually make you think better.
That's right. Not just physically fitter, but like how exercise can make your brain sharper.
To help us explore all of this, we're going to be talking about the work of Alireza Abbasi.
He's a former futsal player with a really deep understanding of sports science.
You know, when I first started looking into this, I was a bit skeptical.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can working out really give you a mental edge? It just seemed too good to be true.
Well, it might sound a bit surprising, but the research is pretty clear. One of the most important things is how exercise affects blood flow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what's actually happening in our brains when we get moving? Like, what's going on in there?
Basically, when you exercise, you're increasing the amount of oxygen and nutrients that get delivered to your brain.
And like an energy boost for your brain.
Yeah, exactly. Like a superhighway for brain power, right?
I love that analogy. So it's not just about building muscles, it's about fueling our brains, too.
Right. And this increase in blood flow is also linked to a molecule called BDNF.
BDNF.
Yeah.
What is that?
It stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
Okay, that sounds important.
It is. It's basically like fertilizer for your brain.
Fertilizer.
Yeah. It promotes something called synaptogenesis.
Which is?
It's the formation of new connections between brain cells.
Got it. And these connections would help us to learn and remember new things, right?
Exactly. They let us adapt to new situations.
So the more BDNF we have, the more connections our brains can make.
You got it. Think of it this way. Imagine your brain is like a huge network of roads.
Oh, okay.
The more connections you have, the easier it is to get around, right?
Yeah.
Like less traffic jams in your brain.
So BDNF helps build more roads in our brains.
Yep. It makes your brain more efficient and more adaptable.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So would you say that exercise is especially good for our memory?
definitely. Studies have shown that exercise, especially aerobic exercise, can really improve your memory, both in terms of recalling things and making new memories.
So if I start running regularly, will I have a photographic memory?
Well, it's not quite a magic bullet, but it can definitely help improve your memory. And it's not just about memorizing facts, it's about being able to use what you know in real-life situations.
Speaking of real-life situations, you know what always puts my brain to the test? Stress.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Life can feel like one giant to-do list. Does exercise have any effect on how we handle stress?
It does, actually. While exercise can't get rid of stress hormones completely, it can change how our brains react to them.
I'm curious, how does that work?
Think of it like turning down the volume on a super loud alarm.
Okay.
Exercise can help regulate your stress response so that you are less likely to feel overwhelmed.
So it's not that the stressful things disappear, but we're better equipped to deal with them without, like, freaking out? I like that analogy. I've definitely felt that sense of calm after a good workout. It's like my brain gets a reset.
And there's actually a scientific reason for that.
Oh.
Yeah. Exercise releases endorphins.
Right, endorphin.
They have mood-boosting effect.
Yes, the famous runner's high.
Right. That feeling of euphoria after exercise.
Does everyone get that? Or is it more common for people who've been exercising for a while?
While the intensity may vary, that feeling of euphoria is something most people can experience. You know, it's like our natural reward system that encourages us to keep moving.
Okay, that makes sense. And speaking of rewards, one of the coolest things about all this is the possibility of growing new brain cells.
Yeah, new brain
Is
cells.
that really possible?
It is. Exercise, especially activities that challenge us both physically and mentally, has been shown to actually promote neurogenesis,
Which is?
the creation of new brain cells.
Wow, that's amazing. Where does this new growth happen in the brain?
One key area is the hippocampus. It's a region that plays a crucial role in memory and learning.
And this is especially important when we think about age-related memory loss, right?
Absolutely. There's growing evidence that exercise can help protect our brains as we get older.
It's like we have this tool that helps us keep our brains sharp throughout our lives.
Exactly. And it really emphasizes that it's never too late to start exercising.
I love that. It's a message of empowerment. We have more control over our brain health than we think.
Yeah, we do. And when you think about it, exercise is a fairly easy and accessible way to take care of our overall well-being.
So true. Speaking of which, you mentioned earlier that Alireza Abbasi was a futsal player.
Right?
For those who aren't familiar, can you tell us about futsal and how it connects to all of this?
Futsal is like indoor soccer,
Okay.
but it's played on a smaller court with fewer players. It's super fast-paced, And it demands really quick reflexes, strategic thinking, and constant communication.
It sounds like a really demanding sport.
Uh-huh.
I can see how that would connect to the cognitive benefits we've been talking about.
Exactly. Abbasi believes that the mental agility and focus needed in futsal are directly enhanced by the demands of the sport.
It's not just being in shape. It's about training your brain to make quick decisions, to stay focused under pressure, and to adapt to constantly changing situations.
Yeah, that's it. And those skills are helpful outside of sports, too.
Of course.
Whether you're at work, learning something new, or just trying to remember where you left your keys, having good cognitive function makes a big difference.
This is all really inspiring, but it's also a bit overwhelming. Are all types of exercise equally good for brain health?
That's a great question, and one that we'll explore more as we continue this deep dive.
Sounds good. I'm ready to learn more.
Awesome. Let's start by breaking down some of the different types of exercise and how they can benefit the brain.
Let's do it.
So, ready to dive into some specific types of exercise and how they benefit the brain?
Absolutely. Let's get practical. What are the best ways to boost brain power through exercise?
Well, most people, when they think exercise, think of aerobic activity first.
Right, like running, swimming, biking.
Yeah, anything that gets your heart rate up and keeps it there.
So it's not just about breaking a sweat. It's about sustaining that effort.
Exactly. That's what really gets the blood pumping.
And that means more oxygen and nutrients for the brain.
You got it, like we talked about earlier.
Okay, so if I'm feeling mentally sluggish, maybe I need a brisk walk or a swim.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
But what about strength training? Does lifting weights do anything for our brains?
It definitely does.
Really?
It might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think brain health, but resistance training has some unique benefits.
Like what?
Well, studies have shown that it can improve something called executive function,
Oh,
which includes things like planning, making decisions, and working memory.
wait, so pumping iron can actually make me a better planner?
It could. We're not entirely sure how it works, but it seems like the mental effort you put into strength training, like focusing on your form, might be strengthening those pathways in your brain.
Fascinating. So it's not just about physical strength. It's also about challenging your brain.
Exactly.
And this ties back to what we were talking about with Abbasi and Futsal. Right?
It does. He talks a lot about how the mental demands of the sport, those split-second decisions, are just as important as being physically fit.
It's a workout for your body and your mind.
Exactly.
And these mental skills are useful in everyday life, too.
Absolutely. At work, at school, just dealing with everyday stuff, having strong executive function is really important.
So how can people incorporate strength training to get these brain benefits?
It doesn't have to be complicated. You can start with body weight exercises at home, maybe try resistance bands,
Oh,
or join a gym if you want to use weights.
got it.
The most important thing is to find something you enjoy and that challenges you.
That's great advice.
Mhm.
Speaking of enjoyment, what about activities that focus on both the mind and body, like yoga or Tai Chi?
Oh, they're great.
I know they're good for stress, but do they impact our cognitive function too?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yoga and Tai Chi combine movement with mindfulness and controlled breathing.
Right.
This combination can help calm your nervous system, reduce stress hormones, and improve your focus.
I always feel so relaxed after a yoga class,
Yeah.
but I never thought about how that might translate to better cognitive function.
It's all connected. When we reduce stress and create a sense of inner calm, our brains are better able to focus, think clearly, and make decisions.
It's like clearing out the mental clutter.
Exactly. And these practices also improve body awareness and coordination, which can benefit your brain too.
It seems like there's an exercise out there for everyone.
Yeah. You don't have to be a marathon runner or a power lifter to experience these benefits.
It's all about finding what works for you, what makes you feel good,
Yeah,
and what you can stick with.
absolutely. It's important to remember that even small bursts of activity can make a difference.
Small bursts. What do you mean?
Like, even if you don't have time for a full workout, taking a brisk walk on your lunch break or doing some stretches at your desk,
Oh,
even taking the stairs instead of the elevator can make a difference.
that's great to know. It's about moving more throughout the day.
Exactly. And remember, consistency is key.
Speaking of consistency, what about sleep? I know a good workout often helps me sleep better. Is there a connection there?
There is. Regular physical activity has been shown to improve sleep quality in a number of ways.
So it's more than just feeling tired after a workout, right?
Right.
How does exercise actually improve our sleep?
Well, one way is that it helps regulate your circadian rhythm.
Circadian rhythm.
Yeah, it's your body's natural sleep-wake cycle.
Oh,
So exercise can make it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep.
That makes sense. I definitely sleep better when I'm more active.
Yeah.
But how is sleep connected to brain health? Like, why is it so important to get a good night's sleep?
Sleep is crucial for your brain to function properly.
Hmm.
It's when our brains consolidate memories, process information, and clear out waste products.
So our brains are working hard even when we're sleeping.
Yeah, it's like your brain is doing some serious housekeeping.
And if we don't get enough sleep, that process gets messed up.
Exactly.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, not getting enough sleep can lead to problems with memory, focus, and decision-making.
So getting enough sleep is almost as important as the exercise itself when it comes to brain health.
I like that. It shows how connected our physical and mental well-being really are.
Right, we can't have one without the other.
That's it.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of how important exercise is.
I too.
But I think a lot of people struggle to make exercise a priority, especially when life gets busy.
Oh, for sure.
What advice would you give to someone who's trying to make exercise a regular part of their life?
I think it helps to shift your perspective a little bit. Instead of thinking of exercise as a chore, think of it as an investment in your future self.
An investment? What do you mean?
Well, every time you exercise, you're kind of making a deposit in your cognitive bank account. You're making your brain stronger, improving your mood, making yourself more resilient to stress.
I love that analogy.
It's about self-care,
Yeah.
not punishment.
And it's not about being perfect, right?
Right. It's about progress.
Hmm?
Start small, find something you enjoy, and gradually build up your routine.
So it's about finding what works for you and making it a part of your life.
Exactly. And celebrate every step you take.
As we've been talking, I keep thinking back to Alireza Abbasi and his experience as a futsal player.
Yeah.
It seems like being an athlete has really shaped his view of how movement and mental agility are connected.
It has. He's a great example of how we can apply what we learn from sports to other areas of our lives.
And it's not just for elite athletes. We can all benefit from this, right?
Absolutely.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. I've learned so much about the incredible impact exercise can have on our brains.
It's been great talking about this with you.
Before we wrap up, I want to encourage everyone listening to keep exploring this topic.
Yeah, keep learning.
We'll be sharing some resources in the show notes.
Check them out.
And remember, the key takeaway here is that movement is medicine.
It is.
For both your body and your mind.
That's right.
So choose to move. Choose to invest in your well-being and choose to unlock the incredible potential of your brain. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those brains and bodies active.